Mhm.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Ria.
How is everyone?
They're all filtering in. You know these people are, right? So.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Good morning.
Give it another minute or so.
Yeah.
And then we'll get started. Today's session, just keep in mind, everybody, we're probably going to be muting you. That way there's no background distractions and whatnot. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box. And then when we open up to questions, we can always unmute you and you can go ahead and ask Lauren or myself any of the questions that you have live. So we'll get started in just another minute.
Okay. Oh. So you're saying I'm the host?
I am.
And what do I have to do then?
You're gonna have to click on everybody's little pictures and mute them. You logged in first.
Well, it just said join. It didn't say start. So I figured somebody else was in there.
Oh, no.
Okay, so what do I have to do?
So on everybody's picture, you're just gonna have to right click those three dots in the right corner and just make sure they're all muted. Or, yeah, because I can't reclaim it.
There we go.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and start. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our 3 Truths of Technology and our Top Tech Tool webinar. Make sure you guys have a pencil, a pen, and a pad of paper because you're definitely going to be taking some notes today. We are recording the sessions and we will send it out probably later this afternoon or tomorrow morning. So if you miss anything, you weren't able to write down your notes in time, no worries, the recording will be there for you. From those of you who may or may not know, I am Ria and Lauren is here as the host as well. And we are from Agent Marketing System. Now, Agent Marketing System is a marketing tool for real estate agents where we provide you guys with unlimited personal branded niche marketing websites along with unlimited single property websites. So with obviously today's current climate, making sure that you have access online to really market to those who, because you're not able to see properties, you definitely want to make sure you have a website capacity and that you have the ability to have single property sites for any listings that you're going to have. Not only that, with Agent Marketing System or AMS, as we kind of make it a short form, we also want to go a little bit further than just being a website provider or a marketing provider. We do give you access to lead generation options. And yes, all of our websites are lead capturing with that ability. but we will give you marketing websites, we give you lead gen, and then to do a little step further, we want to make sure that you guys have enough training in all aspects of your real estate career, not just the websites that we actually provide you with. So with that being said, we do webinars like this. We have a webinar we did last week on Google reviews. We want to make sure that we help you develop all of the necessary skills in all of the different aspects of your career to make sure that each time you're just providing better service and better skill sets to your clients. Now, we constantly are doing training, and if you guys want to learn a little bit more about Agent Marketing System, every single Wednesday at noon at 12 p.m. we do a What's Up Wednesday, where we kind of do a little bit of a deep dive into a specific area or an aspect of our system. It usually runs about 30 to 45 minutes, and that is every single Wednesday at noon. We also have there's a training coming up, and that is tomorrow at 11 PS time. And that is really for those of you who want to get a little bit more understanding and hear what Phil has to say. So Phil is the CEO and president of Royal LePage. So you want to get his view of what's going on and what will be of the real estate industry in the months to follow. And that is also co-hosted by Gary Morris, who is the CEO of DLC. So you'll get the mortgage component along with the real estate component. Earlier this month, we did an amazing webinar with Karen regarding growing your business through systems. Now is the time, whether you're a veteran agent or you're brand new to the business, really securing your system so that every single client gets the exact same level of experience from you. So we will be doing that later on in May. I want to say next month, but that's really just a few days away. We also will be doing near the end of May is Marketing to Millennials with Talene of the Hannon and Homegirls, and she'll really be focusing on Instagram and some of the basics that you guys will need. If you're not doing Instagram or you have it and you're not using it every day, you're really not sure what to do, then that is an amazing session for you to join in at. All right, now today's presenter is Lorne Andrews. So
is this where I take over?
Yes. Now Lorne will introduce himself to you guys and then get started.
Okay, so let me get everything up and going here.
All right.
Here. So I'm going to share that screen.
Now, if anybody has questions regarding Agent Marketing System, you need a little bit more information, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. My email address is Rhea, which is RHEA at agentmarketingsystem.ca.
Perfect. Okay, you guys, can you see my screen?
No.
Oh, you can't see my screen.
No, you got to click the little screen, share screen button.
I did. Hang on. There we go. Let me go back here. Oh, there we go. Better?
Yes. Perfecto.
All right. Awesome. Okay, excellent. I am super excited. We kind of did a similar session to this at Genworth, and it was actually a really good day. I enjoyed all the speakers that day. And I think that since that presentation, a lot of things have changed in our world. So congratulations for being here, and we're going to make sure that we record this. I'm going to throw a whole bunch of information at you, and I'm going to make sure that we send them off sort of an info sheet, Rhea, that we can provide for them after to give them a guide on this as well. So when I usually do tech tools, I usually come out and start talking about all these great tools and resources and everything else that you know, you can get it and use for your business to you know to help you in these different areas. And some of the ones that I'm going to be talking about, you're going to be aware of. Some of them might be new to you, which is great. If you can take one or two things out of this, then that's perfect. But when I also realized that, a lot of people are looking towards technology as a substitute for something in their business that can't be substituted. And so, what I wanted to try and do is I'm going to preface this by talking about first the three truths of technology and kind of take you through the journey, the technology journey, in terms of how our mindset should be shifted in terms of how we're using and leveraging technology. And that's the key thing, is leveraging technology, not relying on technology to build the trust and everything else we need in our relationship, but leveraging it to help amplify that. And if that makes sense, we're going to start rolling. Okay, that sounds good.
Absolutely.
All right. So let me just figure out how do I change these things here. Give me 1 second. There we go. Very good. Okay. So if I haven't, any of those that I haven't met, I am, so my name's Lauren, obviously. And sort of build a bit of on my background is I do have a real estate background. I used to teach for Aria College. When Aria was actually doing the education, I was in charge of the Aria College Center at York University as well. I don't trade in real estate right now. I was a broker of record for a short period of time too. But my focus is more on the training, the aspect, and obviously the financing side, what we do through Dominion Lending as well. So if I haven't met you, and glad to you that you're here and here for the first time. So we're going to talk about three truths of technology. And one of the number one truths that we have to always get our mindset around, because we're always hearing these new ideas that come up. And I think that a lot of us, sometimes when you hear these things, you feel threatened. Okay, you feel that you're going to be replaced in the industry. And I understand I'm not just talking to realtors here. I'm talking to some mortgage people on here as well, and other professionals. But in whatever industry we're in, there's always going to be new things that come on the market, and it's like the next shiny object. So one of the things that we know that would never ever change is, until the end of time, you'll always be selling to humans. Okay, this is one of the most critical things that you can put in place. We're human. Okay, we need to be connected to. And when you're trying to build trust and technology, they kind of go hand in hand, but technology itself will not establish or maintain trust in relationships. Okay, so you can't bank on technology to create trust. And when you have bad technology, or when technology turns a certain way, it can ruin trust even faster, right? So a great example of this is, I think it's a lot better now, but back in the day, one of the greatest, technology companies in the world, Tesla, were taking orders for all these clients, and what was the wait time for some of these cars? It was huge, right? So one of the things that that you can have the best technology in the planet but still break your customer's heart. Okay, so you need to control your technology that you use, be able to leverage it, and make sure that you understand it's not the magic pill that's going to take your relationships to that next level. Okay, and you're going to find that what happens is those people that learn how to leverage it to the highest potential for what they can do in terms of how they can serve their clients is what makes the difference. So truth number two, okay, now this is going to be really, really important in sort of things there's been a catalyst that's actually happened right now too, is by the end of 2020, you need to shift your business model. Okay, so there was, let me see how we can put this. So when we were looking at these studies that came out of NAR, and we're talking about how there's a certain percentage of realtors that aren't going to be able to survive this whole data shift, the way the market has changed in terms of the millennials and everything else coming in to play. It was estimated, and I'll get into a second, I think it was close to 60%, 60 to 65% of realtors will be out of the business within the next 5 years. Okay. So a couple of things that's changed is, I love this quote, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So when I'm working with a lot of our realtor partners and everything else, and we're trying to get them to shift, and really it's pivoting. It's really how you pivot in the business. When you continue to do things the same way, the results continue to be the same, and they'll also start to diminish because the market is changing with it. Now, just to kind of show you an example here. So currently there's $9.6 million, 9.6 million baby boomers in Canada, okay, which is 30% of the population. Okay, so 7.3 millennials, these guys kill me, right? So millennials in Canada are doing 30% of the home purchases in Canada. So that's an important stat. Actually, when I go back here, I wonder if these people are talking to these people. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so another important stat is 50% of the Canadian population will not have been born in Canada by the year 2030, right? So within 10 years, there's going to be more people in Canada that were not born in this country. And that has a large with immigration, that's huge. And the next thing is that within the next 25 to 30 years, over $30 trillion in assets are going to be passed from baby boomers to their kids. So another thing I wanted to add in here too, we talk about investor population, because now the investor population has started to increase as well. So that's about 15% of the market. And right now there's, and if you've been in the business for a while, there's probably close to 22% of your database that are currently looking at investments, but they're not thinking of you because you haven't nurtured that to get to that point. In fact, what is actually really, really unique right now is seniors have started to use reverse mortgages, okay? Because the mindset for reverse mortgages is, okay, you want to stay in your home, you take a reverse mortgage. But that's, a lot of seniors now are not using it for that. They're using it to buy investment homes. So if I'm a senior and let's say I want to increase my cash flow by $2,000 a month, I can either take a reverse mortgage out of my home to give me $2,000 a month, or I can go buy an investment property, okay, that's going to build up net worth, equity, and everything else, and give me $2,000 of income extra per month. So, and that's where realtors can really use that type of product. We have a whole session we do on that in terms of building their business. But it's interesting how that shift has changed as well. So if you look at sort of the breakdown of the industry, so you look at the median age is 46. So you got your Gen X's and your young boomers, your older boomers. Those are the age categories, because I know some people get confused in terms of where they are, who's what. So I wanted to throw that up there too. Couple other stats I want to go through too. So when you look at, so these stats, so there's a lot of great reports that come out. These came out from CMHC. Sorry, give me a second. And I thought it was interesting because it looks at trends, right? So the whole point of this little section is you got to look at where the market is going, right? It's like the whole Wayne Gretzky thing. It says you don't go where the puck's been, you go where you think it's going to be. So understanding where things are going allows you to think, how do I position myself in my marketplace to better serve the people and where they're going to be, right? So how do we do that? So interestingly enough, when you look at some of the trends for home buyers, so 22% in 2018, so these are people that actually looked at realtor website, real estate website, listing website. So your websites, for example. So 22% in 2018, 36% in 2019. Okay, so there's been an increase of individuals actually using realtor websites in terms of finding more information about real estate. Statistically, when I was at the last Buffini conference, he was talking about from NAR. The stats came out that with all the technology in the world that's happening right now, in 2019, the stats were more people were using a realtor than ever any time in history, right? So more technology available, but more people relying on real estate professionals to guide them through the purchase process, right? So that's important. Interestingly enough, in my world, when we look at lender websites, it was 66% in 2018, and then it's dropped to 45% in 2019. So in my world, it's actually been a decrease in people looking for websites. They're looking for information on websites, for lender websites, and it just could be because it could be content, right? So I think that what I'm seeing a lot more with a lot of realtors are using a lot more video, using a lot more different ways to actually communicate, and I can see that's spurred on a lot of interest or change. Okay. The other thing is understanding. So, for example, we look at first-time home buyers. Okay. So if you look at the sections over here where it talks about percentage of first-time home buyers who had rented with a family has increased. Okay. And then you look below at the percentage of first-time home buyers decreased from 56% in 2018 to 47% in 2019. That is clearly because of all the mortgage rule changes, and that has caused a decrease. So what I'm trying to get to here is some of the facts here is 50% of what we relied on for normal referral sources is going to be changed on us, right? We're not going to have the choice, right? So we need to adjust, because right now the whole shift in the dynamic of individuals that are coming into the market, it's a data first environment. Okay. 75 million millennials, data first shift is huge, right? You have to really be able to understand how to change the way you were doing things to adapt the way things want to be done or are going to need to be done to the needs of the people that are coming into the marketplace. Now, what's interesting is when I first did this presentation, we didn't have this whole COVID thing. Okay. And statistically, they were estimating, again, 60 to 65% of real estate professionals would be out of the market within the next 5 years because they're not going to be adjusting their businesses for this. So from what we saw on this, all of a sudden we had this thing called COVID come out, right? And where this changed things is this is actually a catalyst for change. So when we look at, there we go. So it was 50 to 60% of realtors would not survive this data shift. But now we look at industry. So for example, I was watching the news the other day, and they were talking about industries that are really suffering from obviously this whole situation with the social isolating and distancing and everything else. So they talk about farmers markets, right? So farmers markets relied on, they would show up on Saturdays and people would come and shop for produce, and that has all of a sudden stopped, right? So what they did is now they've created all these different websites where you can buy direct from the farm. And what happened is that the farmers that never had their product produced on these sort of websites are now being forced to change the way they're doing the business. But what's interesting is that there's individuals now there. It seems that there's been a big shift in terms of how they're doing business and the volume of business, because now all those people that never could have made it to the farmers market or didn't think about it are now finding their stuff online. So they've had to adjust, but the adjustment might actually be a very positive thing in terms of them taking their businesses and sustaining their businesses, and not just sustaining their businesses, but potentially growing their businesses. And we see it in our industry too. So for example, I see these emails that come out with virtual open houses and everything else. And this is going to be something that, is going to be around for a little while, right? There's going to be, even if when things go back to normal, everybody has a different perception of what normal, the new normal, is going to be. So being creative in terms of how you're reinventing yourself, this whole incident, the way this whole thing is happening with the COVID, is actually forcing us to actually change the way we do our businesses. And it could actually help in terms of the way we're connecting with our clients in different ways, right? I've seen realtors right now, and even mortgage professionals, everybody else that, for, I don't know, trying to get them to do videos and other resources, there has been like pulling teeth. They've been hesitant to do it. And now I see them out there. I see them doing cooking. I see them doing other things. They're getting sort of out of their comfort zone. And the more you watch them, the more comfortable that they're getting, right? So it's definitely, this point is important to understand. You need to adjust and learn, right? You really need to learn new ways. Okay. We're good so far, Ria?
We are good.
All right, good. And you're going to look at any questions that come along the way, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And truth number 3, okay, most important thing right now is crushing the client experience, right? So we need to find our ways to actually not just service our clients in the way that they need to be, but we need to wow them, okay? You need to build your lifetime relationships and create market demand by building the trust, the relationship that will last a lifetime, and making sure that you do it in a way that your clients are your advocates, right? They're talking about what you've done, how you've done it, and communicating to others, because you're trying to build an annuity, and an annuity is something that continues to come in. Your referrals are the most important thing. So nurturing the database, nurturing the relationships, building the trust, and servicing them long after the actual transaction has been done. We say that all the time when we do our Buffini stuff and everything else. We know how important it is. Okay. So you need to build that strategy in terms that's a client, human to human relationships. Okay. Consumer to consumer, business to business, how to connect. Okay. I'm going to go through, and so I'm just going to show you, actually, this is an interesting chart. I'll do it really quickly, but this is a typical agent's workday in terms of how they spend their time. All right. And the reason I want to show you this is because if this is typical, by just doing a quick little adjustment in terms of the percentage of time that we spend allocated to these different areas, would make a huge difference in most of our businesses. So 37%, we look at agents are doing errands. Okay, they're running around scraping, self-employed. We can kind of do things as we go. We can deliver things. We can control our own destiny that way. So 19% is admin, 18% are emails, 12% surfing the internet, 11% is social media, and that's probably increased now, right? Because we're probably social media for sure has increased for sure during this time. And we're 3% as we're connecting to our clients. So 3% of our day is actually making the phone calls and connecting. Now, I know things might be a little bit different right now because we're trying to reach out to our databases and just to let them know that we're here and making sure they're doing okay, right? So we're probably not going out there and calling right now saying, hey, listen, we're too busy for your referrals and that type of thing. But you want to connect to your people, connect to your database, and just making sure that they're okay, right? That's really what we're doing right now. But the connections and what you do for your clients, if we can increase that by 3%, what would change, Ria?
Everything about your business would change.
Everything. Like even just that extra 2 calls a day, huge, right? It's a compounding effect of what you're doing, right?
I've just got to put it out there. If there was a system in place for following up, you might technically put in a little bit more effort, but the results would increase substantially.
Absolutely. So a couple of things that before we get into some of these tech tools, so this is where we want to really think about our businesses is how we can create deeper connections with our clients. Okay, how do your clients know that you love them? Right? What have you done for me recently? How do they know that you hold them in such appreciation on a regular basis? And then lastly is how can we leverage technology to create the wow customer experience, right? So, and that's important. That's where we're leading into the tech tools because it's not to replace anything that's a human connection, but how do you complement and use these tools and resources to get you there? All right.
Just want to point something out, guys. I know on the slides it's saying your customers and your clients. Just keep in mind when we refer to customer and your client, it's not just your active ones. Once you've done business with somebody, in our mind, as in yours, it should be they are your clients for life. So you want to make sure that you continue, especially when you've done a transaction with someone, you've spent so much time building that relationship, creating that rapport and the trust. You want to make sure it's continued to be maintained.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to jump into, so I'm going to actually try something a little bit different here, Rhea, too, is because normally if we're on stage or we're doing this, we're showing these slides. I'm going to show slides on some of them, but some of them I'm going to jump actually into the program and
Excellent.
kind of show you how to actually do stuff really quickly. Does that sound okay?
It sounds amazing.
Well, we'll see if it works, right? We've never done it like this, right? So we'll see. All right. So, okay, so I'm going to go through some of the tech tools that are here, and we'll get you a list of these as well. And I'm trying to organize them. They might be a little bit all over because I get excited and I throw something in. It's like I found this new thing. I throw it in. And it's like, okay, there's nothing to do with. I'm trying to keep it in a certain order, right? So one of the things we came across is people are dealing with a lot of leases and landlords and things like that. Is a program called Neighborly, right? So what Neighborly does, it's a screening process for your clients, and it'll give you actually a rating on those clients. So basically, when you go into Neighborly, it gives you your Equifax reporting score, your identity verification, employment verification. It'll give you a rating, pet liability analysis, rent to income ratio and stuff like that. So it gives them some stats. Okay. You can pay extra. There's an extra fee that you can actually, if there's a criminal check that's connected to it as well. So this is actually a pretty cool program. Now, the rating though, so for example, if I am a homeowner, okay, and then I've own a home for 20 years and I decide to sell and go rent for a while, I'm not really going to have a great rental rating, right? Because I haven't really been renting for a while, right? So anyway, so this is a great resource in terms of for your for leases and for your owners that you want to protect them, and you can jump in and use neighborly.com is your connection. Okay. All right, we'll go here. I'm going to talk about appreciation gifts. Okay, so I use this one all the time because it's quick and easy, and it's a program called Gusto. And what Gusto is, it's an app, okay, that you can load. So basically what you want to do is you can load credits onto it. And the best way to do it is I e-transfer them, whatever, $300, and I have $300. The cool thing about that is I get a $300 tax receipt, okay, so that's towards my marketing, right? So it's just a lump sum. Now, what I can do on Gusto is, let's say somebody sends me a referral, and then so what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll punch in their name, I'll send them a gift card. So I can choose here where it says, I don't know if you see do you see my cursor up there on the screen or no?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So in this area here, so you can pick dessert, you want to buy them a drink, lunch, pint, whatever. So you would click this, they can pick from a whole bunch of different restaurants and everything else, which is good once the restaurants open up again. And you send them a little gift card. So this is a great quick client appreciation. You'll see their acknowledgement that they got it. You can tell when they redeemed it and everything else. And it's a quick way. So this is kind of the message. So this is one I sent my son, just to show you as an example. I don't even think I sent it. So at the end, I think I take it back. But anyway, so just say, here's Joey, a little something on me. You can put your personalized message. You put his information in, and then they get it and they receive it. You'll see that they receive. They'll send an acknowledgement back as well. Okay. Next one is send out cards. So I am a huge believer in handwritten cards, right? Handwritten. I love handwritten. It's just, there's something, I got one in the mail the other day and it's like, that's the first thing that gets opened. And there's something about handwritten cards, right? So send out cards is not handwritten. You can make it look like it's your own handwriting and everything else, but it's not. But you can also use what's called, so send out cards is basically a card system. You can personalize the cards. You can put the client's house on the front picture. You can put, I think, I sent one where their dog passed away. So I grabbed pictures of their dog and I did a little tribute to their dog and, said, I'm really sorry about your, Fido, whatever his dog's name was, that type of thing. But you can also send gifts with send out cards. So there is an advantage of doing both, because what I found that people are doing handwritten cards, but they're not doing cards on every occasion that they possibly could. So you can complement your handwritten with, obviously, a program like send out cards, and you can send your gift certificates with it and everything else. A card itself is probably pretty close, or maybe even less than if you were to go into Hallmark and buy a card, and the postage and everything else is done for you, and it's facilitated. So you're not like doing a card, having to mail it and everything else. Anything else with send out cards that I'm forgetting?
One of the things that I love is that once you put your customer in there, you put their birthday, you can have it set up where it automatically is sending it. So that's a way for, you're still touching the client. They're still going to appreciate it, but you're not going to have to worry about it. I find a lot of agents, you might do it for the 1 year or 2 year, and then you get really busy, maybe during different peaks of the season, and then you don't have the time to continue how you normally would. So this is a great way to do it. Also, I have to say, they have little gifts. So I always get the brownies. So I've got to tell you, the brownies are amazing. They're delicious, as are the chocolate chip cookies. So it is a great way to send something out to one of your clients or somebody in your network.
Yeah, Ria's probably the only person that sends herself send out cards with gifts and brownies, and she's like, "Oh, look."
They're amazing.
That's awesome. So when you talk about, so I'm going to get into some media creation, and I would, so the very first thing, most of you are probably familiar with Canva, okay? And I don't know if there's anybody not familiar with Canva. I don't know if I should do a quick little sample, but anyway, it's pretty easy. It's a free software. So it's canva.com, and they got all these templates, and you can pick whatever you want. You just pull over the template and you edit it. Okay. It can create, so for example, if you want to create some of your social media banners, your LinkedIn banner and everything else, you can pick those so the sizing is right, and you just replace certain items. So you look at what you get, the look that you want, and then make it your own. Okay. So for example, stuff that could be feature sheets or anything that you're really doing. We do most of our stuff that we do for AMS or announcements and stuff like that are all done mostly Canva.
I'd say half and half.
Half and half. Okay, good. What's the other one you use?
I use Poster My Wall.
Poster My Wall. Okay, so maybe that's something we need to add to the next top tech tools.
Canva is definitely a lot easier to use.
Is that, yeah?
Yeah, and I definitely like with Canva that they have a variety, like depending on what you're looking for, they have a variety of different layouts and templates to fit everybody's personality and what they like.
Oh, that's good. Okay, good. Good stuff. Okay, so the next one I'm going to look at here is called Lumen 5. All right, so Lumen 5, and this is where I'm going to try and experiment here, Ria, to see if I can pull this up. Okay, so let me see here. Oops. if I do this, all right, let me do it like this. Oops. You guys still see my screen, right?
Yes.
Excellent. I need to see my glasses. Okay, so Luma 5 is a great way to actually create quick little videos. And if I go into, I'm just gonna find a blog here, okay? So let me just see if I can, see if I can get a blog. So you can go find any article, any blog, anything else. So let me see if I go here, home selling season. And what you want to do is you just need to copy the actual blog domain. And oops, did I do that right? Sorry, hang on. Give me 1 second. I did something wrong here. Hang on.
Refresh, press the refresh, yeah.
All right, so let me go back. Sorry, let me pull this. Here, let me do something about what do I want to research? Name a topic.
Oh, I like the dig yourself out of the debt hole.
Oh, you want to do one of these?
There you go. I think that's a good one.
Where are you seeing this?
Oh, there you go. Right
this
there.
guy. Okay. Okay, so now I copied it. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste this guy here right into where it says blog. Okay, so you can do your own text, everything else, but if I want to do it from an article, this is what I'm going to do. So where are you going to post it? It's going to say Facebook. You can do Instagram. You can do Twitter, etc. So it's going to ask you where you're actually going to do it. So for this one, I'm just going to pick this one, pick a theme. And so what it's going to do is it's going to read the article. Okay, it's going to pick up some key images from the internet to actually create this particular video for you. And what it will do is it'll allow you to edit it, right? So for example here, so I picked up some of the graphics and things like that. So I have to get rid of that. So let me see if this works. I probably picked the wrong one. Let me do this here. Let me go into okay. How about this one here?
Great one.
So this is where we try things for the first time. And I thought I'd wing it, but okay, let me try. Try this again.
Get to see how you have to work it if it doesn't work when they're doing it on their end.
This should be better. I think the other one was embedded within a website as opposed to just an article on the internet. I think that's why it was. Okay, so this is going to create a video. And there we go. Okay, so what it's going to do here is it's going to post and pull things from this actual article, right? So I can edit, change it. I can say I want this in here, et cetera, et cetera. So if I do a quick little preview of what this looks, this is really kind of how it creates it, right? So it'll create the backgrounds. You can do your own slides, your own stuff. You can substitute whatever you want. But this is how people create quick little videos that you can actually post to your social media. Okay? And so this is free. You're able to share it. I think you can do X amount. You would publish it, and then you're able to share it to your social media pretty quickly. Okay? Good stuff. Any questions on Lumen 5?
Nope. People said they love it. Somebody said that I tried for Instagram, but it just makes based on Facebook. So Facebook and Instagram are essentially the same company, so it might, and the ratios for the graphics usually are the same.
That makes sense. Perfect. Okay, so let me go into, okay, so there, so that's, let me get to my next slide. So that's Lumen 5.
So easy to use. You have the ability to kind of personalize it so it looks different from how everybody else is doing it. Does it catch other languages?
I don't know. I've never tried other languages, right? So, you know what? Go in and experiment with it. You know, pick it up, and if you do it into, just pick something that's in a different language, see how it works. Because really what it's going to do, if you pull something on in another language, you're going to highlight that language and it's going to pull it over into the article. So I don't see why it wouldn't pick up other languages, because you can customize it however you want, right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Now there is a question, is there any proprietary issues by using others' blogs and articles?
Okay, so I think that um, you know, most of the articles that you see out there, they give you the ability to share them, right? So really, you're just grabbing some content from an article, and you can actually change and edit however you want. You can use your own images and whatnot. So you're just grabbing information, and you don't have to do one particular article. You can pull in an article, you can pull some other stuff in and substitute it to and because you might have your own opinion that you need to, or you want to express with this, right? So and the videos aren't that long, they're just really really quick videos, right? So I think on the blogs and everything else that are meant to be shared, you're really sharing it in the terms of a video. I don't know about proprietary, because you're not like just copying all their content, their images. The images that are being pulled in are usually images um, that are through the system, right? So it's like stock images that are you're able to use, right? So that should be fine too. Good question though.
I would say if anybody is concerned about that, when you're actually posting it, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, etc., you can always put a little note saying it was sourced by XYZ, and that will kind of cover you.
Makes sense. Okay, so next thing I'm going to talk about is MakerMoon. Okay, so MakerMoon is a really, really cool way to create quick little videos on yourself, or sort of things that it could be for new listings. I'll show you here. It could be so for just listed videos. It could be for open house videos. It could be for market updates, right? So one of the things that we're going to be adding to AMS is you're going to be able to request a market update, right? And you're going to be able to have somebody do it for you. So for example, this is a quick little market update one where it was done for a realtor in the GTA, and it just went through the December stats. And some of the things that I changed on this was just a little bit more information on how it changed from the month before, right? So quick little video summary, that type of thing. So those are your little snippets that you can actually do and create for these guys, okay? Any question on Moonmaker?
Nope.
Or MakerMoon. I always get it different.
You
I always
do.
get it weird. MakerMoon. There we go. All right. So we're going to talk about some increasing productivity and time management tools. Okay. So Fiverr has been huge for a lot of the stuff that I've done. And if you've never used Fiverr, it's a great way to use. It outsources anything that you really want, any type of project that you want to be created. So it could be from designing business cards, designing feature sheets, could be creating commercials or ads for you. And not everything's $5 on Fiverr, but you're going to have options to be able to do it. So you can, for example, when you go to fiverr.com, you can type in the word real estate, and it's going to have a whole bunch of stuff that's already been done for realtors. So for example, this guy here, so this was an ad that I did with regards, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'll show you, it's kind of just related to animals. So I wanted to create something with dogs and finding a new home for these dogs, right? So it goes through the whole thing with these dogs just wanting more things out of their home. I don't know if we want to watch the whole thing, do we?
Oh, I love it.
All right. So it's a cool little commercial. And I think that cost maybe 50 bucks, I'm thinking, or maybe even less than that. Maybe it was like $30. But it was actually had as a template that you can get, and it's all kind of done. You just tell them what you want changed on it. And it was really kind of done for realtors, but I kind of said, hey, I need it kind of more for a lender. And so I say, can you change this slide? Change this slide? No problem. And within 2 or 3 days, it gets done for you. But don't hesitate to go onto Fiverr.com and look at some of the really cool ideas that you can do in terms of helping you create more branding, more marketing. There's a lot of resources out there, and the people that are doing this, they're over. A lot of them are overseas, right? So that $50 that I spent, or $40, whatever it was on that particular one. That's like paying somebody $150 here, depending on the country that they're working. They're very skilled as well, right? Oops, don't do that one again. So another really, really cool tool, and it was funny because in our last session, I was talking to Charlene, and she said she was trying to design stuff like this, and she didn't realize HoodQ was a really cool tool to pull out neighborhood stats. Now we've added HoodQ onto Agent Marketing System. So as soon as you activate a property, you're going to have your HoodQ report created for you and put into your property website. But you can also subscribe to HoodQ separately. And I'll kind of show you what HoodQ is here.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions they'll make in their lives. So an agent is a guy through a very emotional time. But when the job is done well, you have something very precious. Their loyalty. Loyalty will keep them coming back and telling their friends about you. We're HoodQ, and we're here to help you build stronger and deeper relationships with your clients. You know neighborhoods like the back of your hand, but how do you present that information to your clients? Let us show off your neighborhood genius. In the time it takes to type an address, you can create beautiful customized neighborhood report cards for any address in any neighborhood. No research or design skills required. Information that could take hours to gather is prepared for you in seconds, ready for a showing or listing presentation, letting you focus on what you do best, selling homes and making your clients happy. HoodQ report cards have all the important neighborhood details. We give you the inside story on schools, parks, and transit, allowing your clients to easily see the benefits of any location, helping them find the perfect fit. Our knowledge is human curated and not machine generated. This means we're hyper-local and relevant to consumers, providing information for people, not big data. HoodQ will help you solidify your reputation as an agent who goes the extra mile. Sign up in seconds and start today.
So it's a good tie into that data first situation where people are looking for information. So you're the one that's supplying that information. And making sure that you can provide not just information on the home, but the area and everything around it. And so HoodQ, great tool. All right, any questions on the HoodQ stuff, Ria? We're good?
Good.
We're good. Okay. So another cool thing I threw this in here just randomly is because I just found this out recently. Sometimes we're in situations where we need documents from our clients. Okay. And what happens is they take their phone, they end up taking pictures and everything else. So it's a little bit different with our DocuSign world now. But sometimes we need actual signatures and whatnot. So where I was struggling is that people were, if they had to actually sign something or send me an ID, they were like taking these pictures, and it was a mess with documents. So what's interesting though is on your cell phone, there's a program called Notes. Okay, and this, I believe this is for Apple, right? So I don't know if the Androids have it, right? Do they? Ria?
Usually when we take a normal picture, well, on my Android, when I take a normal picture, I have the option to scan.
You do? Okay, that's
I
cool. Right? So anyway, so when you go into Notes and you go to create a note, there's a little camera there that you're going to take a picture, right? So when you actually hit that camera, you actually have the ability to scan documents, and really all you need to do is hold the document underneath, hold the camera up, and it'll pick up the corners and scan it automatically, right? So it's a really cool, quick way for your clients if they want to figure out how to get you documents, right? Especially when they say, hey, what's your fax number and stuff like that. And not too many people have faxes anymore and that type of thing. So it's a good, quick way to do it. Another thing that I struggled with, and I wanted to make sure that this was in there. So I am trying to learn more about posting to social media and understanding this hashtag thing, right? And when we were doing the session with Talene on marketing to millennials, I went on Instagram, I posted my dog playing tug of war with another dog or whatever. And she goes, I saw this thing. She goes, how come you don't hashtag it? I said, what am I going to hashtag? What do I hashtag? Like, what am I going to say to this? I don't have an idea what this hashtag is. So there's a cool little website called all-hashtags.com. And basically what you do is you kind of put in the topic, okay? And what it does is it gives you some of the top hashtags you can use, right? So you can just kind of copy and paste sort of hashtags if you're not too sure what to use for hashtags and things like that. This is a cool little resource to actually jump into and be able to have an idea what hashtags to use when you're posting. So we're going to talk about saving some time and building rapport with email, right? So one of the things that I use a lot, I use Gmail, okay? So there's a program that you can actually add on, it's an extension that you add on through Chrome called Boomerang, okay? So with Boomerang is basically what it does is it allows you to take an email, and I'll show you right here. If I take this particular email, I'm just going to pick one. And let's say this is important to me, but I can't deal with it right now. What I can do is I can boomerang it. So I'll have it sent back into my inbox in 2 hours, tomorrow morning, etc. So sometimes, because if I don't prioritize that, what happens is, I get probably 100 emails a day at least, and then it gets buried, right? So I'm just the type of person that likes to have these things in front of me, or especially if it's an email that I need to take action on. And I'm getting more habitual to actually taking stuff and putting it over into my calendar, so it's in there as well. And I might do both sometimes. I might put it into my calendar and boomerang it to come the same time that it would be in my calendar, so I'm getting hit on both sides with it. You can also create emails. So for example, let's say you have clients that you're helping, and they send you an email at 10 o'clock at night, okay? So you'd like to respond to them, but Ria, what happens when you respond to them at 10 o'clock at night?
They know that you're awake and available, and they will now have an expectation that you're going to respond.
Yeah, exactly, right? So you need to control that, right? So you also need to respond. So what you can do is you can actually create that response then, but boomerang it to go at 8 a.m. in the morning, or whatever schedule that you want. But it allows you to control it, because I know that, hey, stuff comes in all the time. You want to respond. If you're up and you're responding to it, that's great. But again, it's creating that mindset. You're available at 10 p.m. Great. I'm just going to call you at 10 p.m. It's easier for me to get hold of you at 10 p.m. than it is during the day. So what you're doing is again, that client expectation is important. So One of the tools that I use, I'm going to talk about two cool tools here. So there's BombBomb. So BombBomb's been around forever. And the cool thing about BombBomb, it's the quickest, it's one of the quick video communication tools that integrates into your Gmail, into your Outlook and everything else. So it's as easy as compose message, you compose video, you record the video, and it embeds right into your recording and into your email and sends it off. It's streamed, so there's no attachment that's connected to it. So very, very easy to use. Most of my communication right now is by video, right? Because, and especially now in today's world where we're not able to really connect face to face, you need to be face to face at least by communicating with video, right? So BombBomb is one solution for that, for your email video. Another really cool solution that's come out is called QuickPage. So QuickPage is kind of like BombBomb. They call it BombBomb on steroids. It's got the ability to do what BombBomb does, but also the ability to create almost little almost like sub websites when you actually do the communication out to individuals. So for example, I was experimenting with this yesterday, right? And with this, there's, oh, I don't have it on here. But so, sorry, let me go back here. Where am I here? There we go. So down in this area here, see there's actually 5 pages. So I was able to do a video communication out to my individual. The next page I had actual embedded link, which went right to my website, and they could actually, as they go to the next page, they see my website. The next page would be a single property website that we did. So it was a specific property information. I was able to do attachments to it. I was able to do a lot more in that one communication. So when you're communicating things like, for example, if I'm communicating, first-time home buyer programs or stuff like that, I can talk about it. I can create a program in behind it in terms of maybe first-time home buyer incentives. I can talk about using the RSPs. I can talk about the down payment program that the government has. I can do other things I can add on to this. So that's how I would use something like QuickPage for some of the stuff that I would do. For you guys with marketing properties, it could be you talking about the property listing, the single property website, you create an AMS. It could be a whole bunch of different things, your YouTube videos, anything, right? So it's actually a pretty cool communication page that you can actually do. Now the cost is a little bit different. So the cost for, do you know what BombBomb cost is, Rhea? I think it's about $50 a month.
That sounds very close.
It's about 44 bucks, I think you guys are paying, right?
Is it 44? Because we pay a license, so it's altogether, but I think it's more if you pay just it for individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and QuickPage is $29.95 a month. There's a link here that we're going to send you so that you can even try it out in that first. So Michael Creases give us this link that you can do the first month for $1, I think it is, and give it a try. There's no contracts. You can go month to month. You can do whatever it is, whatever you want. But now, critical, if you're not communicating, right, by video right now in today's world, you need to start today, right? You really, really need to do that, right? Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Perfect. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our tools here too that we have. And one is in qualifying your clients. So one of the things I added this because I've had on several occasions, I've had some realtors call me and say, listen, I've been working with this client for a while, and now we finally found this home that we're looking for. And can you just let me know exactly what they qualify for? I'm thinking, okay, that's fine. So I ended up talking to the individual, and probably within the last, say, 4 or 5 months, there's been 3 or 4 realtors that have been showing homes to clients $200,000 to $300,000 more than they could even qualify for. which concerned me. And because one is you want to make sure your clients are qualified ahead of time. And maybe they went into the bank and said, I make X amount of dollars, and the bank gave them a pre-approval certificate, but it's not really backed up by any type of proof of whatever income they're doing. So the reason why I'm saying this is because the mortgage toolbox, okay, is something that every agent should have. And if if any of the mortgage brokers that are out there, if they'll share it with you, okay, they have it. And basically those commercials you see on TV, I get pre-qualified in 60 seconds, it has that in there. So at the very least, when you're dealing with clients, just say, listen, can you fill this out? It'll take you 60 seconds. Just show me what it says. And it'll at least give you a first indication if there's any particular issues with the type of properties that they're showing. And it has the stress test and everything incorporated in there too. So make sure that you have some type of mortgage toolkit within your arsenal to be able to share with your clients, right? And for the most part, I've always had, realtors call me, can you pre-qualify? No problem. We do it 100% all the time. But don't be afraid to have that tool to give that initial indication. If there's any issues with their client in terms of what they qualify for, it should come up in this toolkit. What other things here? Okay, we're going to talk about photo editing. So this is something that has been used a lot within the last few weeks. Okay, and when we talk about Box Brownie is one of the partners in Agent Marketing System as well. And what's happening right now is you get some places that are vacant, some places that need staging and everything else. So a lot of the shift has gone into virtual staging. And basically it's as simple as being able to take a photo, drawing out where you want this, and this, and they will virtually stage it for you. Okay. So here's some examples of some of the stuff of what a picture of an empty room would look versus a picture of one that's actually been staged. The other thing is photo enhancements. Okay, so I know that for most of you guys, you're using professional photographers to take your photos. What would be an example you wouldn't use a professional photographer, Ria?
Leases.
Yeah.
Commercial properties. I mean, there should be, but the
commercial
industry norm is not there.
Don't get me going on the commercial properties. The lack of pictures on commercial properties, right? So anyway, but there's or if there's a picture that you want replaced, that type of thing, because there's maybe the property's been listed for a few months, and when you took pictures, there was snow on the ground or something like that, right? So you don't want to go through the whole thing again. But if you have a photo that needs enhancement, so basically just enhance your photos, right? So you can say, okay, you took this picture on a cloudy day, all right, send it in, and then get it done. Ria, you had an example of somebody that did it recently, didn't you?
Oh, yes. A real estate agent, she had an over $1 million property, had the professional photos done. However, and the views of this property were amazing. So when I looked at the photos, she and I kind of had a discussion because you weren't able to actually see the gorgeous views, because when the professional photographer was there, it was actually a very muggy day. So the sky was all gray. And because of COVID, the client was not open to having the photographer come in again. So I just said to her, use Box Brownie. And she did it. And the photos are out of this world. It was way beyond anything that I thought it would have changed.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. You can do stuff like floor plans, right? So you just draw it out. They'll draw up the floor plans for you, do 3D renderings. This is a big one too. So clutter removal, big thing with garages and things like that. So you need things removed. Again, it's a good little tool and resource to use. Another resource that we have in terms of taking your own pictures, there's an actual app that AMS has. It's a real estate camera. And what it does is when you go into the app, when it takes a photo, it'll take it at a bunch of different sort of depths, I guess is the best way to describe it. So it allow you to see, you know, you won't get things whited out. So for example, in wonder if I have samples here. I do. Okay, so here's one that is with the app. Let me see if it goes here. You'll see some of the differences in here. See how that could be a normal picture where everything's kind of whited out. So the same thing with this one. This would be a normal picture. You take it with the app, see all the colors. You can see the trees through the actual window and things like that as well. So if you're doing leases, right? And if you're doing any type of replacement pictures, this is a great tool. It'll do wide angle as well. So it'll have you take a picture in 3 different places and put it all together for you. So it's really cool app. And what happens is when you take these pictures, if you like the picture, you can buy the picture. I think it's $1 per picture. And it goes it's done through Apple, and it goes right into your camera roll. Okay. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about your online presence. This is where I'm going to kind of plug some of the stuff or talk a little bit about some of the resources that we have in Agent Marketing System that you guys, I know a lot of you guys here on the call are members and some of you aren't members. So I'm going to kind of just reconnect you with some of the things and possibilities that you have within Agent Marketing System as well. And Ria, this is your turf too. So you can jump in whenever you want to.
Will do.
All right, perfect. So Ria had talked about in the beginning of the presentation, talked about the importance of presence, and one of the things that are used often are really the single property websites. Sorry, excuse me one second. So single property websites is a great way to actually market your listings, but not just your listings, because I get this all the time saying, you know, it's great, Lauren, but I don't have a listing. So what most people are using is they're using the brokerage listings, right? So if you can get 3, 4, 5 of your own brokerage listings that are up and going right now, especially right now on the market, but even if you call your you know, somebody, whoever has that actual listing, and say, listen, can I help you market this particular property? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, please, I need the help right now, right? So you want to start getting these listings up on the internet, right? So they'll brand, it'll blanket you with those particular listings. It'll create all the tools around it, your YouTubes and so it'll create your YouTubes, your social media syncs, your SEOs and everything else. And it gets sent out, and you can share it and do everything else you need to do with that particular website. But if you blanket yourself with these websites, you're going to start getting leads, right? And inevitably, I've had people that have been preparing a listing for the marketing, and they've activated the actual property before they put it on the MLS, and they started getting calls on that particular property just from what they were doing with marketing that single property site. So as soon as you actually hit a button, it will actually create your YouTube videos, or it creates your marketing flyers, creates anything that you need to do to market that particular property, creates your Kijiji ads. There's countless stuff that we go through. And what I'm doing right now and what Ria is doing, so those of you that are looking to kind of do a quick little demo, is we're actually creating appointments. So we'll do some online stuff to get you guys, and we'll actually make you guys do it. We'll do a screen share. We'll have you guys enter properties just to kind of just get familiar with how it works. One of the other partners when we talk about printing materials or marketing materials is Colortex just come in as a partner. So from the individuals that have been using this particular program for a while, when they got to the activation screen where they're activating that property, you have the ability to print water bottle labels, flyers, and everything else. So if it's your actual listing, you may want marketing material for that particular listing. So what it does, because you've put all the information from that property into there, it'll actually create the marketing pieces for that particular property. So you can say, yeah, that's exactly what I want to order, and order it direct, and it comes right from Colortech. the other thing, so we talked about lead generation. This is where, so Ria, maybe you want to jump in here and start, because you're really starting to work a little bit more on the online lead generation, other lead generation tools that we're getting out of AMS.
1 second. Sorry about that.
What'd you do to your dog?
Someone walked by. I apologize.
Gotcha.
So with lead generation, especially with the AMS system, as I had said at the starting, all of our websites, whether it's your personal branding one or the single property sites, they all have the lead capturing component. You also have access to does come onto your website and they leave, a little pop-up will appear as well. In our system, there is a component for, it's a CRM component is in there. As anybody knows, if you have leads, you definitely have to have a really good CRM within in order to really be successful. So our system actually has that component there. It's great. You can put notes on each client. You can create your own drip campaigns. They do have drip campaigns there. So for me, why reinvent the wheel? Something's there, utilize it as a base and just edit it so it kind of sounds like you. You have the ability to send out listings from the system as well. So a lot, when they have online leads, they're not really up with the leads, like they can only call so much, they can only email so much. So a great way to stay in touch is making sure that you're sending them listings, because at the end of the day, that's really what they want. Now, that's what's really going to be kind of organic, having the people come directly to your site. If you have the websites up, but you're not actually getting the traffic, or you don't know how to generate traffic, we do have lead generation options. So one of them is specifically if you have a property, you have a listing that you want to advertise, we do have Just Sell Homes, which is one of our partners. And they can create a Facebook campaign for you. And that will be on Facebook and Instagram, and that would be driving traffic to that website. And of course, you'd be able to get leads. That agent that I talked about earlier, her pictures with Box Brownie, she actually just did one, and I think she had like 5,000 views on her website, and she had quite a few leads that came in by using that service. Another option, if brand yourself as a whole on Facebook, we have another provider, and to me, I've got to be 100% honest, they're absolutely amazing. So one of the things that I like about their leads is they have the drip campaign that's auto created that will give you a mix of text messaging, voicemails, along with emails. Now, what is wonderful that the drip campaign is created and done is that the leads are warm leads, meaning they're actually calling you or reaching out to you instead of the other way around. So we've kind of have a similar system. I don't know. Can I talk about that, Lauren?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so for us on the mortgage side, we're actually using the similar system. And honestly, all day long, my phone is ringing and it's numbers that I don't know. And I usually am that type of person. I don't pick up numbers that I don't know. And every time it's an unfamiliar number, it's one of the leads who are actually calling me back. So for you, if you've never had online leads who are actually reaching out to you directly, this is definitely the system for you. They're warm leads. The system is educating them. It's being the resource for you. So you actually don't really have to think too much. You just kind of set it and forget it. But them reach out to you via text or phone or email.
Perfect. Awesome. Any questions on that stuff, guys?
And
Any
if you guys
questions?
do have questions, let us know. Again, you can email my to help you with any aspect of your business, really.
Perfect. So one of the other cool things about when you actually put a property in, so this is a great tool. It'll create your listing presentation for you, right? So you can actually customize what slides or your own personal slides and everything else, and it'll integrate it into every property that you're marketing. So great example is, and this has happened 2 or 3 times now, that people have created the single property site before the getting the listing. So they go and take a picture of the home. And basically what they've done is they've taken a picture of the home, and then there's a link that it creates, and it embeds that home within the actual presentation and creates that presentation. So you can send it actually to your clients. So what's happened is that when you're up against 2 or 3 other agents, that type of thing, and you come in with this whole package and how you market, and you actually show them all the marketing you've actually already created for your actual property. And again, I swear this is the truth, that one of the clients, they said, listen, I had the agent in last night. I told him that I was going to give him the listing, but he didn't show me anything like you were showing me. You've already done the marketing for this. I said, and then they ended up getting the listing, right? Because they've actually shown through action in terms of, and the client was actually see that they've actually what they've done. So using those marketing flip shows and everything else is really, really important. And you can actually really, really leverage it in much different ways. People see how you market. One of the cool things is that when you, and I'm going to go back to all these single property websites and everything else, because ideally I don't know if it's a single property website that's going to sell a home, but it will definitely show your presence on the internet. And what happens is it creates text capture codes and everything else that gets leads. And I saw a lead come through the system saying, hey, I know you advertise this, or sorry, you are listing this particular home. And can you come and list our home on Saturday? We can send you pictures. And I'm looking at this. So I called this guy, Kevin. I said, Kevin, I saw this lead. This is kind of a bit weird. I don't know if you were testing the system. He goes, no. He goes, the people referred to me, but they went and checked the internet to see how I did things. And they saw all these properties that I had up. And he goes, well, most of them aren't mine. I'm just using other people's listings to market. And they loved my presence. Like my presence was out there. So he was able to leverage basically using the systems and everything else that were out there. But the perception from the clients was huge, right? It endorsed the referral in terms of everything that they said that this guy was, to allow him to actually get that listing without question, right? Good stuff. All right, so let's go to, so the other cool thing that's been added for you guys, the agent marketing system, people that haven't been there for a little bit into the program, you got to go back in, and there is now a design lab, okay? So with the design lab, it'll take all your information and you can create ads. You can create Facebook ads. You can create any type of different sorts of ads, new listings. It could be anything that you can think of, sold over askings, card, everything else. So templates are all in here. There's a design lab that's built within it, almost the same type of thing as Canva has, but it has your stuff already in there, okay? So that's new and added as well. You know what, Ria, I'm going to get you. Do you want to talk about, we're going to talk about Social Sync, right? Do you want to do that one?
Sure. I don't know what your are, but
just wing it. You know what I'm going to do? Why don't I do this? I'm going to bring up my website.
Social Sync, guys, is an absolutely perfect solution. I've been working with real estate agents for over 15 years, and many of them have always given me a couple of concerns. One, they have no idea what they should be posting, whether it's their business page. Two, they say, okay, well, Ria, if I'm on it, I don't have the time to constantly. I'm so busy. I don't know what to post. And even if I did know, I don't have the time to do it. So AMS has a tool called AMS Social Sync, and it kind of alleviates all of those problems. So what it will do is, in the system, you kind of tell the system, And when I say you're telling the system, you're doing a setup. The setup takes maybe 30 and you'll set it and forget it. It's done for you. So what will happen is you're going to tell the system, how often do you want to post per day? You're in complete control. You can post 0 up to 3 times a day. So it'll go in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. Each day of the week, you can have, let's say Monday in the morning, Tuesday in the evening, so it doesn't look like it's automated. The second thing that you're going to do is tell the system, what is your interest? So yes, we want to put real estate related stuff, financial, economy related stuff. However, that's people who are on your social media, that's not all they want to see. They don't want to just see business. They want to see other things. So you can say, let's talk a little bit more about, maybe we want to talk about food, maybe want to talk about gardening. So really whatever your interests are, you're going to tell the system. And after you do that, the system is going to find curated content. So articles based on your interests. With that, it will post the article with an image. It'll get, and when you click on it, or when somebody clicks on it, Lauren, could you click on it? Not only are they going to see the article, but everything is going to be branded for you. So your picture is there, your company logo or your personal branding will be there along with your contact information. Now, when you post things like 8 ways to upgrade your morning routine, which is a great article, it's not technically business related, definitely, because all of the article content that has been found in the last week or so. That way you can make sure everything is relevant. But anytime somebody shares it, it's also going to have your contact in. So this is a great way for you not only to stay in touch with your network, but also increase your network. Now, if somebody clicks on it, a little pop-up will appear as well after they've read the article, asking if they want to subscribe. Therefore, you're going to be network without really doing anything. I will have one point. These articles, way to stay updated, it can be posted on Facebook, Twitter, and it can also be posted on LinkedIn. It can also get put to your website blog as well. So it will go into 4 different areas. So it's not just one place. It will do it all for you without you doing anything. You do have some type of control. Does it post on both personal and businesses? Yes, you have control over which Facebook accounts. I would say post it on both. Like, to me, there's no reason why it shouldn't be on both. I would put it on both. But one of the other great things is, if you're unsure of the system, where I'll be honest, I didn't know what would be posted when we started with it, you actually have control over it. So the system will email you and say, hey, this afternoon, this specific article is going to be posted. You have the opportunity to reject and say, please find me a new article. Or if you like it, just leave it and it will automatically get posted. So you can have as little or as much control as you want over what actually gets posted as well.
Magnificent. So the thing is that, so what I see where people are challenged is content, right? So where do I get content all the time? Do I always have to post content? I mean, yeah, you have to post your own content.
Always.
But what this does, it keeps everything current. There's a lot of times I'm getting comments and saying, hey, that was a good article, or people are commenting on the article. Last presentation, I shared something to do with seniors, just to show the sample over to yours, to actually yours, and you had a whole bunch of comments on your Facebook, right, Ria?
I did.
Right, about something to do with you being a senior or having, I don't know, your kids having something. I don't know.
About kids, yes.
Heard a lot of questions. It probably wasn't the right article to put into your page, but I shared it over. But it was interesting how you got engagement right away just from me sharing it, and those people that engaged on it I was still embedded with it, right? So really, really cool feature, right? All right, moving on here. How are we doing for time, Ria?
It's 11:30.
11:30. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up, I think, right now. Hang on. So let me see. Is this it? Okay, I think that's it. I think we're good. We're good. Any questions going through?
I've been answering as we long.
Perfect. It's funny because I see that like the number of people that are on the call has increased. Like
Yes.
probably had another 20 people just join in the last 5 minutes, which is okay. So we'll do the replay. We'll make sure everybody gets it as well too, right?
Yeah, everything's been recorded, so I will be sending that out along with our little some questions with a list of the different features that Lauren was talking about during today's session. So you guys will get as soon as the recording is processed.
That's perfect. Anything, so I mean, part of the things that I'm seeing you guys, like, I just definitely want everybody to keep tapping into the event section to see and make sure you sign up for the stuff you feel is relevant. I mean, everybody can use tech tools because they can grab one or two things out of it that will kind of help them in a certain area, right? Which is great. And then other things that you see as you get these webinars that are kind of, because there's a lot available out there. We would all agree on that right now. There's tons of training out there. And in my suggestion, because I had somebody ask me this yesterday, you know, what do I focus on? You pick on one or two areas of your business right now you want to focus on, and clearly focus on those areas. And it's not to say you're going to get a lot of other stuff that's really, really cool. Sign up for it so you can get the recordings and then bank it, right? So basically you can go back to it when you're ready for it. But my big concern, you know, with this whole shift and everything else is during this particular time when we can really buckle down into our businesses and look at those areas. I would hate to see that if you've come out of this and not got really good in something, right? Or one or two things. Or so at the end of the day, say, where were you before this whole thing started happening compared to where are you after, in terms of skill set, in terms of your ability to deliver, you know, what you need to deliver to the people that you're serving. Anything else you would add to that, Ria?
No, I think you covered it.
Good. All right. So no questions?
No, we have some people who'd like some more information, so I will be reaching out to everybody afterwards. If you haven't posted your question in the chat, but do have some or want about any of the features, tell me. It's Ria, which is RHEA at agentmarketingsystem.ca.
Perfect. Well, I would like to thank everybody for joining here today. And then again, reach out to Ria if you have any questions or whatnot. And yeah, I think that's about it.
So thank you, everybody, and stay safe and healthy.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Bye.